So Senate Bill 5 is flawed in many ways. It's not a collaborative effort, and I think we all know that. It was a mandate, a dictate that comes down, and honestly not something that we needed here in Shaker. We had great relationships with our teachers. That's not the problem we're trying to fix. Are there aspects of it that long-term will leverage? Certainly. Part of the one member cited earlier that roughly 80% of the costs associated with the schools are due to personnel and health benefits and the like. The health benefit component maybe gets us closer to market. That will be something that might be utilized long-term, but that's not our whole answer. That's not going to solve all our problems. So I'd anticipate if the mobilization is there, we're going to see some a repeal of Senate Bill 5 later on. Questions? All at once.
You said that, well, I'm with I work here at high school. I've worked here 5 years. I see a lot of students, everything's fine and dandy when you're in the elementary. I also work in Mercer as well. So everything's fine at the elementary schools. They get to Woodbury, they're still wanting to learn. They get to the middle school and they make this, some make this, or half make this transition of not really caring, but trying to figure out who they are. And by the time we get our students to the high school here, for some it seems, or for too many, it seems like the desire to learn and want to know is missing. It's just something that's not there anymore. Manners, caring about each other, caring about adults. It goes beyond wanting to be not wanting people to be educated. It's a whole personality, character risk and things that they're taking. So, with that said, as a board member, what do you feel as though would be the answer to continue this quality education that you say that you want Shaker to continue to have? And do you really believe that we're having a quality education? We have only maybe, I would venture to say maybe 20 to 25% of the people having their 2.0. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. So I look at the boards, I'm trying to figure out how many students collectively they are and how many people are on the Merit Scholar and Honor Roll. There's so many that are having a 0.4 GPA or 1.2. I could go on and on, but what do you feel the answer?
Well, there's no one answer to that question, quite honestly. So, I think it's a very useful exercise for us all to come spend a day in the halls here and monitoring and viewing some of the behaviors you're citing.
Have you done that?
I have been in this area and on the grounds at some interesting times and seen some behavior that makes me a little uncomfortable sometimes. That makes me wonder what my son and daughter will one day see. Hence, why I want to be part of the solution, not the problem. I do think it's leadership and our selection of leadership and what we require those leaders to do. So the school board is not going to hire the principal of the high school or the vice principal or. But they do select the superintendent and hold the superintendent demanding of the superintendent that certain criteria are met. I think there's a parental component of this. Story I'm feeling as you were talking, I recall a parent-teacher conference that my wife and I were at years ago for our son, and we were very engaged with the teacher about 20 minutes into the discussion. I was trying to be cognizant of another potential parent showing up and wanting to have the conference. Our time was up. The teacher said, let me check, but I'm pretty sure they're not going to be here. And as I heard more of that, I said, Mom and Dad are both here for our child. This parent has, for some reason, chosen not to come. And it was implied by the teacher, boy, it would be good if that person was here so we can deal with some issues. So we have to have good leaders, and we have to hold those leaders accountable. We have to have good parents. Because unless our parents are doing their part of the job, things go astray. You are exactly right. We're getting great mannered and well thought out behaviors from the kindergartners, the first graders, the second graders, and then something starts to happen as time goes on. Maybe it's our fault for some of the transition we put on them, shifting them from building to building without a foundation who can say, I know you, Mr. Clawson. You don't behave that way. I'm going to go tell your parents. But that is a strategic and a larger effort that we need to think about and consider. So there's no one solution. We need to work together to figure that out. I'm sorry, there were a few.
I was just going to say you're a much better PTO mom than I am.
Well, I do want to note that I did feel a little funny being the only guy there. But I got over that.
One of the things that I think is a huge problem in Shaker is that we're very transient. So we get kids in and out. They come for a year, they come for 2 years, they go away, they come back 2 years later. And I am told that that is one of our biggest problems. The kids that are in Shaker, go to Shaker from kindergarten on, do quite well. But it's the kids that are in and out. That's a problem that I've always thought that we could work with the city on to find solutions to, do we find housing for parents that they can afford, that they can stay if they're committed to Shaker? I mean, that's such a dream probably, but I think there's two things that need to happen that I'm really hopeful that our board members will work more with the city, because I think there's a lot of opportunities there that are missed, and I think it's time for, if we want people to come and move to Shaker and our housing values to increase. So that's one thing I just wanted to throw out there is, I'm curious how you feel about that, and if you think there's another solution, or how would you tackle a problem with this transient community that we're in? How do you have any idea that it's a loaded question, but have you thought about that?
Yeah, so how am I doing with time? 3 minutes.
That's a big question.
That's a big question. So I did make a note because I think your idea is an excellent one in terms of reducing the transient nature. If there are support processes that can be, that we can assist people. I know one Shaker, some members who are here this evening are doing door-to-door campaigns to really engage parents and help them understand and get involved, and that I think will help that as well. I don't have a great answer for you on that one. The results do show that if we have them from the beginning, they do better, no matter what their race is, what their ethnicity, what their gender is. We don't have that. That's not a reality of the world we live in. People are coming and people are going. So we need to put processes in place. And I want to get very clear. We have to hold accountable our superintendent and the administration. The school board, for a lot of what we want, will not make those decisions. They cannot make those decisions. They can hold accountable the educators to make those decisions. But we do need to hold them accountable. We do need to demand it of them. We can't take the easy path on it's good enough for today. So who's got the burning question that I need to get to? Ernie? Please.
You mentioned that the elephant in the room is the new superintendent, and if there are characteristics based on what characteristics since you're going to help with that community.
I'd love to see a track record of success. So someone who has taken a community and improved it to levels that we feel are worthy of a Shaker education. I think we need a leader, I'm going to keep using that word, a leader, who engages the community, who is someone we'd all like to shake hands with and will be engaging with us. That leader also needs to feel very comfortable holding his or her organization accountable. That's going to be risky for them, and they're going to have to be changes potentially, but they need to hold accountable the people who work for them. Just like all of us who have jobs out there, we get performance evaluation.